Hello, this is Alex from phpacademy.org, and this is another video for the new Boston. Now, at some point when you program in PHP, you are going to need to generate random numbers. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is show you how to generate a random number, how we can specify a lower and an upper limit, and then I'm going to talk a bit about why you might need to generate a random number. So when we use the rand function, which looks like this, we can either supply no arguments at all, or we can supply two arguments. Now, we're first of all going to look at supplying no arguments. So if I was to just echo rand, or in fact create a variable called rand that we can use later on in our program then, now, random number in PHP is automatically seeded, so there's no need to do anything. All you have to actually do is call rand. Now, at the moment, because we haven't supplied arguments, this is going to generate a random number between a minimum and a maximum amount. And the minimum amount is, I think, 0 or 1, and the maximum is a pre-specified amount. So let's just take a look at the preview of this in our browser. You can see that we've now generated 30,150, now 10,631, 180, so we're going lower towards the lower limit, back up to the higher limits, and we can keep refreshing and we'll have a random number. Now, this isn't unique, so every time you refresh, it will automatically reseed, and we will be generating perhaps the same number twice. Now, if I was to look at this, I can see that there's obviously an upper limit because we're not going into, say, the millions. But there is a way we can find out this upper value. So if I say max equals, and it's a get rand max function. Now what this will do is this will specify the maximum amount of the maximum integer that this random value can be when we've specified just rand on its own. So let's put a forward slash in there and then max. So essentially what we're seeing is the random number out of the maximum. So let's have a look at what that's produced. You can see now we've got 9552 out of 32,767. 32,767 in this case is the maximum number that can be generated, and the number that has been generated is 9552. So you'll see that as we refresh, this value will stay the same. However, the random number that's being generated will sort of increase, decrease, and change. So what happens if we don't want to use all this and we just want to echo out a random number between a specific amount? Let's say you were creating a dice game where the user had to roll a dice randomly. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to create a form. The action is going to be this current page, which is index.php, and the method is going to be post. And what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to create one button, and that's a submit button with the name roll and the value roll a dice, or is it die? I'm not too sure. We'll say roll dice. It's irrelevant here. Okay, so inside PHP, let's just get rid of all this for now. We want to first of all check if this button has been pressed. This is something by now you probably should know how to do. So we're saying if is set $_post. Remember, we're using a post variable here. Roll, and oh, that's it. Actually, that's all we need to do because we're clicking a button. So if the button has been clicked, we can say clicked, just to test this for now. Clicked. Okay, so let's refresh our page. We can click on this and it will come up with clicked. So you sort of get the idea of where this is going. What we're going to do is we're going to generate a random number between 1 and 6 when we press this, because a dice has 6 sides. So let's create a new variable called rand, and we'll equal that to rand. Now we're going to echo out you rolled a, and then we're going to append on this random number. Now, as it stands at the moment, we have clicking the button it's giving us a massive number which is irrelevant to a dice, so the program is pointless. However, if I was to specify just two arguments in here, we can specify a minimum and a maximum, or a lower and an upper limit. So we can say between 1 and 6. Now, so I've said 1 for the first argument, 6 for the second. Now this is an inclusive value, so we could be echoing a 1, we could be echoing a 6, but we're not going to be echoing anything less than a 1 or anything more than a 6, and obviously the numbers in between. So let's have a look here, let's refresh. At the moment it says you rolled a 4, we can click it again, you rolled a 2, you rolled a 6, you rolled a 4, you rolled a 3, a 1, so we've pretty much had every value, and we can keep clicking that, and it will never go over 6 and it will never be under 1. So that is one fun use, if you like, for the random function. Now what are the other reasons we might use it? Now when we're uploading files, we might want to specify a random array, or if you like, of numbers and characters and letters and things like that, anything really. Now the random function is really useful because it's going to produce a more or less random value every time, which you can combine with other random values and letters of your choice, and even MD5 hashes, which you can look at on one of my other videos. So the random function is great for doing what it says, and if you do need to use a random function, all you need to do is call round. You can specify a lower and an upper limit, a minimum and a maximum limit, if you'd like to call it that, or you can just leave it blank and you will be generating a number with a predefined upper limit. So that's the random function in PHP.